Everybody, we're live here tonight and very happy to be with Dina from Sound Body Awakenings. I had a show on earlier today, Dina, and I was telling everybody that you were coming. And so hopefully we'll get a good group of folks in here and we'll learn all about you and then we'll have our healing. I'm excited.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah. All right. So I think a lot of folks really want to know a little bit about your background and how this all came about for you. I know I put the bio in the information, but it's nice to hear you explain it and how this came to be.
Sure.
Mhm.
I know I was thinking about it over the past couple of days, and it's one of those things where kind of connecting the dots
Yeah.
along the way.
Uh-huh.
But I would say, I mean, originally started in the healing arts with massage. And,
Okay.
that was probably about 20 years ago. And that really started my journey as far as working with people. The more massage work that I did, I became even more intrigued with the psychosomatics of it and, holding patterns in the body, that sort of thing. Then the
Oh yeah.
longer I did it, right, like that's always interesting. People would come in and every week, it's like the same shoulder, the shoulder or the low back. And
Yep.
it always kind of opened the space up where my mind would be like, that's interesting. I wonder what that's about,
Whether it's
and
a past life thing or if it's something that they're just holding due to an injury or something. Is that what you're
yeah,
talking about? Yeah. Okay.
like
Yeah.
past life,
Yeah.
an injury, then kind of fast forward from there when you were just speaking on like a past life and injury, but I also got involved in emotion code work. And so then when you talked about
Right.
trapped emotions in the body and how
Mhm.
that affects the holding patterns and whatnot as well.
Yep.
But the more
Wow.
I started working with the body, then I also felt like I started becoming even more aware, of the energetics as well. And of
Uh-huh.
course, with massage therapy, I mean, the majority of the states are all they have their statutes and whatnot, and most of the time there's a lot of continuing education that you have to take and certain credits that you have to fulfill every year. And so I became even more interested in the energetics of it.
Mhm.
And the more I kind of explored that as well, um, with one of the continuing education classes that I attended, it was Lomilomi, and it was on the island of Kauai, that
Oh,
everybody talks about. Yeah, being so magical,
it
and it
is.
really is
I've been there.
magical.
It
If
is. Yeah.
if you haven't been there, you have to go, and for anyone
Right.
else, if you haven't
Yeah.
been, you have to go. I feel it's
Definitely.
one of those things where people talk about, the island just kind of calls you, for one
Correct.
one
Yeah.
thing or another.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, but it was in that training that the one day we're talking about the indigenous people and how they would actually start singing to the body. And it was just in that moment. I mean, I know a lot of people talk about having like past life, rememberings or whatnot.
Right.
So maybe it was something like that, but it really was that something just like sparked, came alive in me, and whole body shaking. And so it really did remind me of my church days. I was actually raised in church.
Uh-huh.
So part of my beginnings of music, I guess you will, was in church.
Mhm.
Um we were more along the lines of non-denomination. So you know, I lived and loved for the Sundays that we would have either, you know, like the Christmas cantatas or
Oh,
the,
yeah.
you
Yeah. Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
everybody's alive with the energy and the songs,
Yes.
or, you know, the Easter cantatas. And then like my favorite though was when we would have like the revivals, you know,
Uh-huh.
and just, you know, the
Yeah.
song and the dancing and you know, the Holy Spirit and just like the whole liveliness of that.
Sure.
So the experience that I had on the island was almost like a similar experience to you know, like that revival type of just, you know,
Cool. Yeah.
all of the
It's almost back to the raw generation of energy coming out of
yes,
you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow.
yes.
Yeah.
And just feeling alive, you know, it's like I want to
Uh-huh.
say all of the dimensional bodies, you know, like the physical, you're feeling it, and just like the emotion, you just feel like you're in this total blissed out state, and I almost want to say like so much information wanting to come in, and um it's like you're there and you're not there, and you're trying to really pay attention as to what's going on and what's flowing, but
Mhm.
it almost made me feel, so I know I kinda jump around a lot in my
No, that's okay. No, no. It's
in my
fine.
speaking, um,
Yeah.
but going back to, like, my beginning days of massage, and then even, like, through the years of working with people, it almost got to a point a lot of times where I would feel like I was working with someone, and I would feel like there was something else that I don't wanna say, like, I wanted to do, but something else that the
Was
body, the
coming through you.
spirit,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
the spirit of the person needed to help shift something, but it was always this, like, huge question mark, you know, and it's
Sure.
like, "Oh," you know, "well, is it energy work or this?" But it's almost like I can never really you know, put my hands on it,
Right.
so to
Right.
speak,
Right. But it
but
was like an unspeakable experience, I would imagine. It's like,
yes.
yeah, but like being totally enlightened.
Yeah,
That's what I
yeah,
think of. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it really
Uh-huh.
was.
Yeah.
So then it kinda made sense, and I was like, "Oh, this is what I've been, you know, wanting to do, or, you know, my soul, my spirit has been wanting to do for people that I didn't even really realize, like, until,
Sure.
you know, this whole epiphany."
Mhm.
And, so then it was kind of like after that, I almost want to preference to say it was kind of challenging to put my hands on people and actually do just a regular massage.
I understand. I do. No, I do. I mean, my husband is a chiropractor and works hands-on, and there are
Okay.
some things he just knows, but he doesn't know why, he's just getting it from spirit or something. But it's
Yeah.
hard not to say certain things, because you're
I
getting into their energy. Yeah.
yes.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I
Yeah.
believe it. And
Yep.
yeah, then, you know, the whole boundaries with that of, you
Oh,
know,
sure. Yeah.
can I really
Mhm.
say this? Are they open to that? You know, then you even have your moments of like, am I just crazy? You know, you hear people going through that too.
I do. I do understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Sure. But it must have been, I mean, when you say that it sounds so much like an epiphany, but it must have been also like, oh, so this is what it's all been building up to as well, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
much so. Very
So are
much
you
so.
still massaging, or
And
are you just working with this business alone right now?
my focus is this business alone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I
So
bet you're
what
busy.
yeah.
Hmm.
You know, and it was interesting even with that. So I still have my massage license, you know,
Uh-huh.
it's just one of those things I feel like I'll always keep up with
Sure.
until,
It's
you
a
know,
tool in your toolbox.
exactly.
Yeah. Hmm.
Exactly. You know,
Hmm.
I'll massage friends and family and stuff like that. But
Uh-huh.
when I came back after having that experience, it really did get to a point that, you know, for my friends and stuff, so I would practice on friends or, you know, clients, as, you know, that that you knew I would know, well enough to be like,
Right.
okay, something has changed. And now every time I touch someone, I feel this urge that I just really want to start singing to the body. Are you okay with that? And thank God for people who are
Being open-minded.
open,
Oh, that's good. Yeah,
who are
sure.
open and that are trusting in someone enough. They were trusting in me enough and
Right.
kind of going along for the ride as well, of just, sure, like whatever. And it's
Really?
always
Yeah.
fun working with people like that who are just ready to go along for the experience as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So
Uh-huh.
that's really how it started. It was just coming back from that experience and then just realizing, oh, now every time that I touch someone, I start hearing a tune, and I want to hum, and it just won't stop. And for
Yeah.
years I actually would still like rent a space and do massage somewhere, and
Sure.
not have
Yeah.
the sound, like,
Yeah.
okay, we have to have our, limits
Regular
as
job,
to
regular.
yes, yes, like the regular job,
Yep,
and
yep.
then my special people who, just wanna go for it.
Right. Right.
And
Wow.
yeah.
That is something. Now, you say this happened about 20 years ago when
The
this first started?
sound, I well, massage was about 20 years ago.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
massage, then got into the energy work, the Reiki. And a lot of times I do feel like, of course, the energy is still flowing as well, but the
Sure.
sound portion itself really like came on board and came into the picture in 2011. So those were
Okay.
like the beginnings of it. And
Right.
interesting, like 2011, you kind of hear about a lot of people kind of having their own
Right before the
awakenings.
2012. Yeah, right before the
Yeah.
2012. Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm. Wow.
And so, it's interesting because that experience happened in 2011, and little by little, working with that and working with sound. And it really wasn't until 2 years ago that I really decided to dedicate, okay, I'm hearing like all the time now, not even when I'm giving a massage, but just in every day, I wake up and I hear tunes and I hear these vocal overlays, and um really decided that it's like that thing. I mean, people say that they have this thing that they just feel like they have to
Mhm.
do. Like you just have
Right.
to do it.
Right. And you have to do this. Right.
Yes. And that's how I felt. So, about 2 years ago is when I really started thinking, I really just want to sing to people, and I really do just want to sing, and why can't I just do that?
Right.
And it's
Right.
interesting too, because it's like sometimes we start down a road, like with the massage, with the emotion code, and they are
Sure.
fabulous tools as well. And you can
Absolutely.
think, oh, I just need to keep expanding that. And how can I make a business grow with that? And so also it's kind of the intertwinings in that of you feel your spirit still kind of pulling you in one direction, but the mind and all of the information out there wants to tell you like all of the business things, you need
Oh,
your
sure.
why, and you need this and you need that, and da 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 da. And the more that I kept trying to figure it all out, the more I really just felt like my spirit was like, whatever, with all that stuff, I just want to sing. So I'm
Yeah.
just gonna sing. That's it.
You just let it go and went with it. And that's the best that's what you were called to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Has it changed over time the way either you hear it or sing it or do it?
The way I would probably say yes to all three of those questions.
Okay. Okay.
When it first started coming in, in that beginning, it was so, I don't want to say overpowering. It's like, what is the word? It was almost, like just such a floodgate opening
Sure.
that you're just like,
Sure.
whoa,
Yeah.
that it would come in, like strong and like so quick that I almost wouldn't even have the time to really like work with
Prepare.
it. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was just like, oh, I'm singing loud now. I'm singing so loud.
Oh, that's good.
Just
Felt
have to
like you were
get.
flapping your wings.
Yeah, it was. It
Yeah. Yeah.
was. And
Uh-huh.
I'd still, it's like that adrenaline or something would still
Sure.
even like kick in, and I'd be like, oh, okay. Oh, it's wanting to come
Yeah.
out.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
so now I still will get that a little bit as well.
Sure.
But it's so what do I want to say? It's more refined, I guess. Like
Uh-huh.
that's the word that comes to
You
me.
fine-tuned it as you've gone along. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and just
Uh-huh.
realizing, it doesn't have to come out so, forceful and, I mean, sometimes my voice will still, like go up and down on a scale or something like that,
Right.
but
Right.
I'm able to follow it more now
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
instead of in the beginning, it would just like really sound like a cacophony of a of a sound, like can we just get in tune here?
Yeah. Well, no, it's almost like, I mean, I can just envision you that, like when you explained it, I could see it. It just like burst out of you. And it's like the first time you have a few drinks and all of a sudden you're saying all these things that you'd never say, you
Yes.
know?
You're like, "Oh, what?"
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It just and I just the other thing I got when you were talking was this whole angelic realm is behind you, and they sing in beautiful harmony. And I'm just guessing that, oh my God, they're just your Earth's representation, and you've got all these angels just pushing you forward to help other people on here on Earth. It's just wonderful, honestly.
Oh, thank you for sharing that vision. That is
Sure, sure.
beautiful.
It is. I feel very good about it. I want to share what
Mm.
Andrea said. She said in the ascension energy shift, she's wondering about singing with people who are living and those on the other side. And that's kind of what I said about the angels. As the veil is thinning, this season between the worlds, she's thinking about that. So
Yeah.
it's almost as though you might even be able to channel or be a medium for those on the other side as well. That might be something that will come in later for you. I don't know.
Well, so it's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Last week, I actually just did a session for someone that they asked me because they had had a loved one passed away.
Oh,
And
wow.
they were like, "I feel like I just want some sound to just help me connect back to them."
Yeah.
And we felt it. Like, we really did feel it, and that is something that just within the last week, I was like, "Oh,
There you
wow,
go.
okay. So
Yeah.
I can do that," you know?
Yes,
Um,
more growth for you. And you've
yeah,
allowed it. And I think that's one of the biggest things. You just said, I'm not going to think about, what does this cost? What do I do? I don't have a real job. You just allowed it to come through. And that always makes a big difference, I think. I
yes,
really do.
it
Yeah.
does, and that's
Yeah.
what it's like, I feel like I want to encourage other people for that too, and
Yes.
it really so it's funny because I know we're on this show and we're talking about me, and then there's also part of me that is just like, I don't enjoy talking about myself, and like,
It's all
I
right.
don't,
You're a channel. You're a channel for this.
right,
This
it's like,
is,
I'm not
yes.
trying to make myself out
No,
like,
no, and no, and I think we all realize that, Dina. I don't see
okay,
you as, this isn't coming from ego. This is something that mediums and psychics will say. It isn't me. It's the guides. They're coming
yeah,
through. I'm just a channel, and that's
mhm,
what you are. You're a channel. But it's just interesting because it's so cool to find out how that all began for you, because it
mhm,
was Well, and I didn't even realize it when we had talked before. I didn't realize it was that instantaneous that day in Kauai that
Yeah.
happened to you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was.
Wow. So this is
And
medium Betsy Palmer. She's over in Maui. And so I had her on about a week or two ago. And yeah, I'm sure she knows, very familiar with the Lomilomi. It's Lomilomi,
yeah,
right?
Lomilomi, yes.
Lomilomi. Okay.
I'm sure
Yeah.
she is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Dandria says the same thing. We all feel like you, Dina. I mean, we
Oh,
all, we all have our gifts, but we're not the best thing in the world. We're not,
yeah.
there's no ego involved in it. So no, you're not doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I guess that's why I always want to encourage other people too, that it's like whatever you're feeling,
Yes.
yes, just do it and
Mm-hmm.
be you. And just like you said, like the more that you can step outside of your head, because your head can really get in the way with a
It can.
lot of
Oh, it does.
things. And you just
It
have to be
can.
like, I'm taking that, I'm gonna park it over there, you know,
Yep.
put
Yep.
it over there and just do it
Yeah.
and be it, regardless. And
Right.
the other thing that I was going to touch on, we were talking about, loved ones passing and
Yeah.
transitioning to the other side, is that the interesting piece with that, so it sounds like this grandiose thing, and I got to go to Kauai and I did this training and I had this, life-changing experience.
Uh-huh.
And literally the day before I left, my own dad transitioned.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Oh.
He had been sick for several months before,
Yeah.
and it was like the closer it got, him and I had our own conversations, and I would say, Dad, I don't think I want to
Mm-hmm.
go. I really want to be here for you. And he kept insisting. He was like, no, you're going, you're going, you're going. And it was like, I would lay in bed at night and just cry and like
Sure.
speaking to his soul and just being like, if, it's looking like the transition is near, and I don't want to like not be here for that.
Sure. Understood.
And so it was like this bittersweet thing of being able to go, over there, and then also in the midst of it, mourning the transition of my father.
Sure.
So that's another thing as well
Oh,
that
yeah.
I like to, I guess, just touch on for people too, because, we hear of people, oh, I went to Kauai, or, oh, I went
Oh, yeah.
to,
Yeah.
to Tibet and I had this awakening, da 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 da. And then it's like really underneath it too, life is still being
It is.
experienced.
That's right.
And
Life goes on. Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
and
And
just
it's the bitter
go
with the
with it.
sweet is what it is. And I had
Yeah.
the same exact experience. Well, not exact, but I went to a beautiful powwow in Alabama back in 1992 with my daughter and some other spiritual friends. And we were doing all kinds of spiritual stuff that weekend. And my dad transitioned that weekend. And
What?
I'll never forget that ever. And just like you won't. And I just felt his presence with me, and he was sitting with me. And, I wanted to be with him. I couldn't be with him anyway, because he was far away, but I wanted to be close to the phone, because you didn't have the phones like you do today. But
Yeah.
I had him right with me. It was amazing experience. So as
Oh,
close as that could be to understanding what you're going through, I really do understand that. And it almost it's a memory that you'll always have and treasure, that you sort of had together, if you see what I mean. Because I'm sure he came
yes.
over to see you and how you were doing.
Oh, he did. He did. And
Yeah, yeah.
even my Lomilomi instructor, I mean, she'd even planned a special ceremony, and we went to the
Oh,
part on the island to do a ceremony for him. And it was like my dad enjoyed having a boat, and for in the very like later years of his life,
uh-huh.
and we were all out there doing the ceremony, this big vast ocean, nothing going on, and we finish and there's a boat out in the ocean. So it was like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
Okay,
That symbolism is unreal, isn't it? Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yes. I
That's,
love this. Yeah, the
I know.
symbolism, all of it. Yeah. And
It's
that too, I'm
fabulous.
always like, everybody always wants to, I need a sign. I need a sign. I'm like, the signs are all
I got
around.
goosebumps. I got goosebumps, Dina.
Yeah.
I do.
All
Like,
around
yeah.
all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. I get it. I get it. Wow. That's
Yeah.
amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. So, most of the time when you do a personal uh, voice
Mhm.
healing, that can take you. You told me, I believe it can take maybe 10 minutes to 30 minutes or longer. I don't know. You said it. You just
Mhm.
go as long as it goes, right? And you do it on
Right.
Zoom if it's somebody far away.
Right. Zoom
Okay.
or telephone. Yes, I can do
Okay.
both.
You can do
I
both.
also
Okay.
also honor that. Some people aren't, even though, we've been in the realm the last few years of being on video, some people don't like video, and that's fine
Right.
too.
Right.
Yeah,
Uh huh. Uh
absolutely.
huh.
And I would say too, sometimes like the entire session itself, could take up to 30 minutes,
Uh
just the
huh.
whole process. We kind
Sure.
of talk
Sure.
about what they've had going on and how all of that feels in the body. And it's really like this whole embodying process,
Sure.
and then the sound. But yes, typically like the sounding portion itself,
Hmm.
um, could go 5 minutes to 30 minutes. I would say
Sure.
a lot of times the average is probably, somewhere around 10 to 15, like on a single session.
Sure.
Um, just by the time we converse with everything that they've had
Sure. And you're
going
telling
on.
them what to expect and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and so today you have agreed to do a community, I guess, a community uh, voice healing,
Yes.
and we're
Yes.
very excited about it. So I will allow you the time that you need to tell us how we need to prepare for this.
Okay.
A way to sit or close our eyes, whatever it is that we're supposed to do. And so I'm going to let
Sure.
you take over and let us know, and I'm going to sit back and be healed.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I just wanted to briefly say too that like on when I really started to dedicate doing the sound, and trying to, learn to record, and I'm still in the throes of that as well. So like
Sure.
some of the recordings that I have on my site are the several vocal overlays.
Okay.
And so sometimes in person, maybe it's just still like the singular.
Hmm.
So I'm still learning as well to do like what they would call like some of the live looping.
Okay.
Um,
That's neat.
but but
Yeah.
so first of all, I never like say that I'm coming in like this is what I'm doing. Like it is all
Right. Okay.
completely
From spirit.
intuited,
Sure.
exactly,
Yeah.
from spirit,
Hmm.
just
Right.
however it comes.
Uh-huh.
So what I'm going to do, so if everybody wants to, if anybody needs a sip of water or anything like that, because I'm
Yep.
actually
Do
going to
that
adjust
first.
my mic a little
Mhm.
bit here too and bring this up a little bit closer.
Okay.
And yeah, so I can just have that better. And yeah, as we go into this space, if people are at home and you do feel like you want to lay down, you can do that. If you're sitting, that's fine too. You're welcome to close your eyes. Um, um, and what will I say too? Okay, this is what starts happening because
That's okay. That's okay. No, no, it's fine.
as it as I'm feeling the energy shift, it's like my human brain is like, what am I
Yeah.
supposed to say now?
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
so I'm like, all right, give me a moment because I really
Yeah.
need to
You
get
take
some of
all the
the
time you need. You take all the time. We've got all the time you need.
right.
Yeah.
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 Hope nobody's in a hurry.
Yeah.
Okay, this still yes. Just get it all fixed here. Okay. So I also like to let everyone know that like all sounds are safe sounds. This is like a facilitated healing space. So it is more, about facilitating healing. It's not about me being a performer. We can definitely set the intention and we'll set the sacred space. And then I will take you through just a brief induction, tuning into the breath, maybe doing a body scan, then I go into the sound.
Okay.
I also like to let everyone know that just as much as the sound is really important, like the spaces and sometimes the silence in between the sounds are just as important, because sometimes there can be a lot of sound that comes in and it's like, ooh, but the body really like appreciates just having a moment of silence to really let it go wherever it needs to go and wants to go. So there may be silence throughout, there may not be, I don't know. The only thing I do know is that once I feel that the sounding is complete, I do allow, like maybe at least like a full minute or so of silence to just be in that space.
Okay.
And then I will actually announce the sounding is complete.
Okay.
That way, nobody's thinking, oh, did she say anything? We're still sitting here, what's going on? So that's just kind of become, and the sounding is complete,
Okay.
And
Beautiful.
so I also just encourage everyone to just really let the sound support you in your own journey. I know we talked about doing the collective. So, do you have like a collective intention that you would like to set for the sound?
If anyone else has anything to add to it, put it in the chat. But I would say that it would be wonderful right now for peace and harmony in our atmosphere, in our world or in our space, and also divine healing for anyone that needs healing, certainly.
Okay.
But if there's anything else that you want to set folks in the chat, I want you to be able to write that in there just for a few minutes. I'll leave it open for that, and you can write it in. But I guess just a collective, I want to say unification of energies for divine healing and peace would be really beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't see anybody saying anything here, so I guess they
Okay.
agree. Yeah.
All right. So
All
peace,
right.
harmony,
Uh-huh.
healing, and wherever the healing is needed on
Right.
whatever
Whatever level.
dimension. Yes.
Yeah.
Physically, energetically, mentally, emotionally. Yes.
Spiritually. Yep.
Spiritually. That's right. All of it.
Raising vibration of light workers, and world love is what someone else has written. Stress relief.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
And yes, thank you all.
Mhm.
So for those of you that also added additional intentions, if you're in a space where you can also close your eyes, I invite you to do that as well. And even just to take a moment, and when you're also inviting those intentions, it's like, just taking a moment to really like, ooh, where am I feeling that in my body? And
Yeah.
just by becoming aware and then allowing the sound to go in to allow the shift.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to take a sip of water as well.
Well, take your time. I don't want it to go away. I just want to mute.
Okay. And I also just want to do a little quick test before I go further. So if you want to nod your head, I just want to try. Okay. How does that sound? Ooh. Is that good? Okay. Okay. Ooh. Is that good as well? Okay, so we've all gathered in the sacred space. We've set the intention to bring in peace and harmony and healing, and adding in all of the other intentions that those who have joined us added, and even extending it out to include the intentions of those who, after we are done here this evening, to include their intentions in the replay as well. And if you are able to, I just invite you to sit down, lay down, close your eyes. And in this space, we're also setting the intention and asking all of our angels and guides, the ministry of angels and archangels, the creator and creatrix, the god, the goddess, and whoever else that you associate and work with to also join this space and to assist us with the sound and to help bring forth the sounds and the tones and the frequencies that are needed to meet all of the needs for everyone this evening and those on the replay. And so I'll invite you to just notice your breath, not trying to change it, just noticing the breath and the inhale and the exhale. And just another inhale and exhale. Maybe noticing the rise and fall of the chest with each breath. And then you can, with the inhale, that in-breath, just bringing it all the way up to the top of the head. And on the exhale, allowing that breath to go all the way down through the body to the soles of your feet, connecting you to the supportive gravitational grid of Mama Earth Gaia. And then taking a few more breaths and just feeling the breath go again all the way up to the top of your head, all the way back down to the soles of your feet, connecting you to Mother Earth Gaia. And just bringing your awareness back up into the head space, just taking note how it feels. Bringing the awareness down into the throat area. Bringing your awareness down into your shoulders and into your arms and your fingers. Just taking note and inventory of how everything feels. Bringing your awareness into the chest, the heart. How does that feel? Bringing the awareness down into the stomach, the belly. How does your belly feel today? Just taking note. Bringing your awareness down into your hips, into your legs, and into your feet. And now we will let the sound come in and support you in all ways. Hurayanu Shanayamotu Oraya Leonu Ayanawane Urayhanu Uraya Uraya nauane Uraya lauane auhaye Uraya ronu ayamotu anahaye Urayu ayahane oyu ayahanu haye Uayanaioru Ayalolu Ayarohonayayuahaine Oh, oh, oh.
Urai urai amatua nuai. Urai amai onuai ahaye. Kayama Turashokura Kayana Kikiyama Kayana Kiyana Kaya. Orayama Iono. Urayanai o murayamai o nuayanai. Urayamatu ayahanianeya. Orayano shurayano hayano uayania eya Urayama turaye Oh, I don't know who I am. Oh, Orayama tuae aioa hahayanu. Hoayama turayanai oramu ayanai. Uraya lashnuraya maturahaye. Uraya maro uaya haneya. Uraya maturaya maniyo. Uraya niyo mai uraya ushnaya. Uraya motu shuraya mari oruaye. Uraya lokuras niroturaya motuaye. Uraya noru ayaro shuraye. Uraya matukuraya hania. Ora yuanea. Uraya no shuraya. Ahaya noraye. Urai urashni amoro ayahaneya. Urai umatu kurashnai anakuayanai. Urai urai amaturai amatukuaya. Urai urashno urai amaturaya no uaye. Urai urai amatuku. Uraya nairo shuraya maturaye. Orayo no kurashni no turaya hane. Orayo ta kurashni anu hamani. Orayo anahane ya. Uraya no shuraya mane. Uraya no shuraya mari. Oraya lairo turaya motu. Hani unashni oruhana hani haye. Uraya shnairo kuaya. Uraya no shuraya. Nayurayama huai. Yohurayanai. Hey, yo, auai. Urayana ionu. Shaiolokura hai. Orai urali koshuraya. Noruai anai oruane. Uraya nai oruane. Kayano to shokura kaili kiono kuayano shokuta kayanaka. sound is now complete. I invite you to just come back into your surrounding space. Feel yourself back into your body. Feel your fingers and your toes. Welcome the breath back in the body. And we thank all of our guides and angels and ancestors that showed up to join us in this sound journey today. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I was floating on a cloud. I was just completely immersed in that beauty. Everybody thinks it was such a beautiful, beautiful experience.
Wonderful,
Wow.
wonderful.
It brought me to places of healing for Native Americans, for Jewish people, I saw all these like slides, and
Wow.
yeah. If anybody else has anything they'd like to add, what their experience was like, go ahead and do it. Oh, everybody's saying how beautiful it was. It really was. Your voice is wonderful.
Thank you.
Very powerful.
Thank you.
Do you think that, I know, I felt really relaxed. I thought, oh my God, I got to sit here and everybody got to know that I'm sitting here, but I didn't care. Nothing bothered me.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah,
I'm so
no.
glad.
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
There are those
Yeah.
moments that happen when you do just, even for myself, you get really like immersed in it and just so in the flow. And I'm like, that's where the beauty of it happens,
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, wow. Flowing just floated away. Good for you, Flowing. Oh, wow. Whew. Just
Wonderful.
lovely. You felt that you were in a temple with white columns. Oh, that's beautiful, Jenny. Clear
that is
visions and
beautiful.
future healing on the Big Island. I even saw where, Andrea said. Wow.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's great.
Wow.
Great. It it sounded so much like Native American slash, I'm sure, Hawaiian, some of the things that, but it was so natural. It was just, when it first came out of your mouth, the first time that you did it, were you aware of what you were doing or singing or wondering where the words came from?
You mean when it first happened those
Yeah.
years ago?
Yeah.
It was like I knew what I was doing, but I didn't. And almost that thing of like where I'm hearing the sounds come out and
Right.
just so expansive, and even in the body motions of just, going with it and like, oh, okay, my body's doing this thing now.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
So it is interesting that you mentioned the Native American, because a lot of people do tell me that as well. And even years ago, I became very drawn to the Native American and
too.
went to powwows. You mentioned the powwow. Yeah, I went to I would just feel like I'd want to cry every time I heard that drumming.
Yeah. Because it's the heartbeat of it's our
yes.
heartbeat in so many ways. And Flowing says the spirit energy gave her a ball of energy. That's wonderful.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful.
I think all of us really, really gained an awful lot by being here as a group and listening to your beautiful, beautiful song. So thank you so much. It did sound angelic also. Yes. Starfish says it also sounded angelic, and it did. At times it did. I think that's why I was on a cloud. I was like up with the angels.
Probably.
It was wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah. And it is interesting. I mean, no session is ever the same. And it
Sure.
is interesting too how some sessions may sound more of the Native American indigenous, and sometimes it does seem more angelic. Sometimes it's a mix. And that's why I say I'm
Mhm.
like, it's totally intuited. I have no idea. I just,
Sure. You're just doing what you're doing.
go
Yeah.
go with it.
And,
Yeah.
Andrea says that the drummings also make her weep, the indigenous drumming.
Yes.
But Starfish says you could put that on a loop and she would just leave it on all the time.
Oh, yes. Well, the great thing is you'll be able to have the replay. We'll all be hitting replay
Yeah.
and listening to it again.
That's right. That's right. There will be that
Yeah.
opportunity to go back and do that again. Well, I
Yeah.
think it's quite,
Absolutely.
it's one, we've been on the air for 1 minute and 11 seconds. And so I think we've done not 1 minute, I'm sorry,
Well,
1 hour and 11 minutes. I apologize. And that's a beautiful number to end our time with. But I want everyone to know that Dina is available. Go to her website, and it is in the information at the bottom in the
right. The sound did its job. Yeah. Not that it has a job, but the sound did its thing. It did its thing.
It did get me all tongue twisted. Yes, it did.
Yeah.
But please let her know if you would like to have your own healing, or you know someone who could, would love to have that done. And thank you, Dina. And thank you, everybody that came, and everybody that's going to listen later, because I think we'll all be probably listening again, but there'll be new people too. And just beautiful. Thank you.
Well,
God bless you. What a gift.
Thank you, Allie, for having me. Thank you for everyone that joined in, and yes, on the replays as well. Yes, thank you so much.
There we go. Yes,
thank
and
you.
Thanks to Flora for introducing me to Dina.
Yes,
I just have to say
that.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care, everybody. We'll see you again. Bye-bye.
Bye.